for this. Why? Why? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Squid Game. We're on season 2, episode 2, which is called Halloween Party. Okay, costumes involved, perhaps, I'm not sure. But anyways, last episode we got a lay of the land. It is now 2 years later. We followed Gian. He has been stalking out Mr. Ganyu to figure out how we can figure out who started these games, kind of follow this trail back to the top. We lost my beautiful baby daddy Ganyu, but you know what? That's fine because apparently at least it got Gian a step closer to his goal, which is figuring out who's at the top of all of this. We also found the young cop who has been searching for this island ever since he was rescued 2 years ago as well. So I'm excited to see what happened now that Gian has finally made some progress in this 2-year-long search. So let's jump into the episode. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know of when I drop episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Oh, damn. I also thought, where are you gonna put that body, bro? Also why you need a cop. Oh, my beautiful baby, no! No, say it and so. Forgot about you.
제가 잘못했어요. 잘못했어요.
성균 어딨어?
415, 415.
Damn, this guy just be singing to everybody.
당신은 변호사 선고할 권리가 있고 묵비권을 행사.
Oh, look at that man coming in clutch.
최우정 이사라고 합니다. 저 지하철에서 김 대표님하고 인증샷 통으로
That's true. You have this picture.
제 말로 찾아와서 제보 다 갚으신 아주 훌륭한 분이라고. 그런 분은 진짜 처음이라고. 이 새끼 사장님이 죽이실 거예요?
And yeah, he killed himself technically.
이 새끼가 우리 형 죽였어요.
And now he'll never have to serve time for it. Ooh, it's a golden card. Guess you have to be VIP to get that one. Pills and booze.
여기서 뭐 하시는 거예요?
Sleeping clearly.
저 여기 일하는 사람인데요. 내일 아침 일찍 출근이라서요.
그래도 여기서 자대고 주무시면 안 돼요.
Why? I mean, respectfully, who's she bothering? Oh wow, he is a nice man.
그 말을 어떻게 믿지?
그때 가면 한 명이 당신한테 황인호에 대해서 물었을 거야.
He did.
아직도 그 게임을 하고 있는 거야?
난 그 게임을 멈추려는 거야.
어떻게?
Exactly.
그걸 관리하던 놈. 그 놈을
Oh,
알아?
he does.
가면들은 그자를 대장이라고 불러.
얼굴을 봤어?
I did.
아니, 얼굴은 몰라. 검은
Plot
가면을 쓰고 있었어.
thickens. He's not gonna let you kill his bro.
그 놈을 죽인다고 게임이 끝나지는 않아.
Oh, he has learned some stuff.
VIP라고 불리는 놈들이 있는데 내가 그 중에 한 놈을 봤어.
Oh, you saw one of them, all right.
날 풀어줘. 내가 그 놈들 찾는 걸 도와줄게.
Or you'll arrest me.
경찰은 안 돼요. 제가 평생 경찰이 우리 같은 사람들한테 도움이 된 걸 본 적이 없어.
Period.
난 거기서 당신이 보지 못한 것들을 봤어. 당신이 하려는 일.
But will you?
돈? 성 사장님이 게임에서 우승한 게 진짜였어요?
Where do you think he got all the money to pay you, bro? Thought he was robbing banks every other week?
내가 그 새끼 윗대가리들 다 찾아내서 묶어놓고 갈비뼈 시켜서 다 싼치들 겁니다.
Put that down. Put that down immediately.
제가 그동안 모은 것들입니다.
Legally? You just showed a cop your...
우리 성 사장님은 다 계획이 있으시구나.
He's really had nothing else to do for 2 years. He's like, there's a reason I bought a hotel. Watch and learn. Next question.
그리고 지금 다니는 직장은 그만두는 게 좋을
Right?
겁니다.
Because it sounds to me like you're gonna have some priority issues. Gian has manned up a lot since season 1. Glad to see it. I still don't think he has a solid enough plan to get to the top of this thing, but at least he's not going in blind. This baby is so cute. Let me squeeze his face. Where are your parents, though? Oh, cutie patootie, little chiclet teeth. Is that the lady sleeping in her car? You saw she had a picture with the baby. No! Mommy, the bunny took its head off. Seriously, where are your family? Where's your parents?
토끼야, 이거 네 거야.
Oh, 감사합니다. Come on. Cute.
토끼야, 여기 아파?
아 더워서 못 해먹겠네.
Damn,
진짜.
things have been rough for her.
아니 이 돼지 새끼는 대가리에 씨발 바람이 안 통해.
Sir, language! But truthfully, this is his break.
나연아. 나연아. 나연아.
That's on you. How you let your baby just be running around? How, this guy.
죄송합니다. 괜찮아. 이제 아빠 왔습니다.
Homie was in,
방금 그 남자가 그 화가인데 그 사람 딸이야.
얘가 어디 아파요?
that would explain the
뭐,
hat.
혈액암이래. 골수 이식을 해야 돼.
Sorry, he was from Sweet Home. That guy that was just in here. He's just a Netflix's favorite guy now, huh?
할머니,
Oh, well, at least the little boy is still being taken care of. That's good.
함경북도 수용소에 있다가 최근에 불려난 게
Oh, he's
확인됐어.
still trying to look for his mom. Okay, that's nice.
빨리 데려와 주세요.
중국이랑 북조선 쪽이랑 다 최고
I
전문가들로
don't trust
소개를
this
해놨어.
guy. I think you need to throw hot coffee in his face.
이쪽으로 꼭 연락해 주세요.
예, 알겠습니다.
Homie's like, this is a one-way trip that I'm planning. Most likely.
마지막으로 한 번만 더 찾아봐 주세요.
왜 이렇게 돈 준다는 사람이 많아?
Can't block a blessing.
저 사람이 착하게 살아야 되나?
제발
Please.
엄마 아빠도 없이 그 돌쟁이가 혼자 북조선에서 어떻게 살아남았겠어? 거기다가 엄마는 상관한테 총질하고 혼자 남쪽으로 뛴 한동.
Yeah, maybe we should have cut that sentence off up here. Yeah.
있는 수밖에 없어.
So that's what that picture was. I don't know what to tell you. There's no right answer in that one. You can't just forget something that you carried in your body for 9 months and pushed out, you know? But at the same time, one, you just gotta pray someone found that baby and took her in. All of them? That's not gonna bring her back. And if she is still alive, you're just gonna, okay. New recruiter. I miss calling you.
살펴봐라. 그래도 안사람 길인데 살아있으면 와서 꽃이라도 꽂아놨을 기다.
Maybe not here.
나는 그게 무섭다.
제발 그런 생각 좀 하지 마세요.
Interesting.
그런 거 아니고 형도 다 아니까.
So they shared a father?
자기 콩팥까지 떼서 널 살려줬는데
Oh, damn.
네 형수가 아파서 힘들어할 때 해준 게 하나도 없다.
That's what happens when people get sick sometimes.
나한테 신장만 안 줬어도 형이 그거 팔아서 형수 치료비에 쓸 수 있었을 거 아니에요. 그냥 그때 차라리 내가 죽었으면은
앞에서 그런 소리 하는 거 아니다.
그럼 어머니도 내 앞에서
Right? Let's both stop. Thank you.
형이 그 꼴이 된 건 제 탓도 어머니 탓도 아니고
He's right. And yet you still want to find him. But he's right though. The self-blame thing it doesn't do anything for anyone. Is it the same lady though? May not be. Can we give this kid an Oscar already? Jeez.
그래요. 같이 밥이나 먹읍시다. 소주도 한잔 하고. 에? 그냥 가면 너무 섭섭하잖아.
This man always talking.
진짜 갈 때까지 싸늘 하시네. 팀장님.
Why? Because she doesn't want you all up in her business?
뭐 얘기도 한마디 제대로 해본 적도 없어요.
Yeah, she'll take the hint. Oh God, is that your... Where's your daughter? Oh my gosh. It's not your fault. She's just sick. What? Why? Huh? Why? I don't understand. Why? There's drugs for this. Why? There has got to be a less painful way to do that. He will sing the first time someone beats his ass. What do you...
선생님, 제가 돈은 어떻게든 마련해 보겠습니다. 우리 나연이 좀 제발 부탁드립니다.
You know, the medical industry is absolutely just... Like, why even tell somebody about something when you're not even going to make it available to them unless they've got all the money in the world? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the medical industry is supposed to be there to help people. Like, you're creating these medications supposedly to help people, and then you're like, oh, by the way, you need to be super rich to afford it. Otherwise, why do you even exist? Oh, did she just leave the hat? No. Jesus! It's quite the segue.
여기는 특전사 출신. 아, 여기는 그냥 경찰 출신.
Just a former cop. He hates you so bad.
저도 같이 들어가겠습니다.
안 돼요. 황영은 섬에서 얼굴이 노출됐으니까 놈들이 먼저 알아볼 수도 있어요.
Right? Like, sir, you are a cop that everyone knows you're a cop.
어디를 가도 우리는 바로 쫓아갈 거니까 겁먹지 마세요. Don't worry.
People need their hearing. You gonna call your daughter? You remembered her?
Hello?
Oh, English.
아빠? 아빠예요?
I mean, if this is the way you're going, probably best you just leave her alone, lest these people go after her.
1994년 6월 25일 강동을.
You're a baby. She worked really hard on that.
아, 그놈이 얼굴을 가리고 오려고 오늘을 잡은 거네. 아,
Man's got a point.
씹어 써야죠. 이거 얼마예요?
That's what we chose? You know, a simple mask would have been enough. That mask is so obnoxious. I can't. I would kick him out immediately for that alone. You should have said pink jumpsuits.
섬에 있던 핑크 옷 입은
Thank you. That's what you should have started with. Memories? That should have been funny, but it was. The way they just made it look like he passed out. Smart. I mean, if we're gonna go, let's go in style. I'm already in. Thank you. Can I get a drinky drink too?
456번.
Not the golden pig.
기억하나? 우리 이 차에서 얘기를 나눈 적이
I was about to
있었지.
say, this is familiar.
그래서 널 꼭 다시 만나고 싶었지. 이렇게 만났으니 하고 싶은 말을 해봐.
Yeah, let's talk.
게임을 멈춰.
No. Next question.
우리 게임을 열었을 뿐 게임에 참여하는 건 너희들의
Thank you.
자발적인
Thank you.
선택이었어.
Reminder. It's the truth.
그들을 사지로 몰아놓고 즐기는 거야.
You choose it though.
게임에서 진 사람들이야. 경쟁에서 탈락한 쓰레기다.
Oh, there's that word again.
세상에 맡기지 않는 한 게임은 끝나지 않아.
리무진 시야에
There's a
확인됐습니까?
point there.
세상은 어차피 그런 곳이니 입 닥치고 그냥
That's not what he
살아가는
said.
건.
He said that the system that's in the world is part of the problem.
사람은 그저 경마장의 말이고 지들이 말의 주인이라고 생각하는 놈들. 말솜씨가 많이 늘었군.
He has become more eloquent, it's true. Already on to you, bros. They're already on to you.
지금부터 2호차가 추격합니다.
Blew out? Yeah. You are lucky they only decide to blow your tire. There's no... Yeah, bulletproof. You didn't think they were that silly, did you?
게임을 끝낼 수 있겠어?
You needed this reality check, bro.
게임을 하게 해줘. 게임을 하겠다고.
He said what he said.
다시 게임을 하게 해줘. 조금 전까진 게임을
Right? I'm like,
멈추라고
I'm
하잖아.
confused. What do you want, bro? You sound confused.
날 게임장으로 데려가.
He still has a tracker, which I'm not sure I don't think they know about that yet.
매트릭스라는 영화 하나.
I have. multiple times.
네가 이 세상을 바꿀 수 있는 영웅이라고 생각하는 건가?
Ooh, deep questions.
원한다면 뜻대로 해주지.
Like the Burger King. Night night, they said. Breathe deep, friend. Probably gonna be the best night of rest you could have in a long time, considering those horrific nightmares you were having. I do like that they use the symbolism of the pig.
456번. 게임에 돌아온 걸 환영하네.
Welcome back, really. Wow, they're just willingly going this time. They said we're not even gonna bother with the whole you picking you up thing. You come to us, because gas is expensive. We ain't gonna go pick y'all asses up. You come to us. So does Gian get like a special like airlifted to the island treatment because he's like a returnee? It's not fair. Oh, they're going in as game masters. That's so smart. I like that they're showing us how these guys get recruited. Look at that. Picking a girl who feels like she's got nothing left, right? Lost her husband, presumably lost her baby, feels like no one wants to help her, knows that people look at her a certain way because she's from North Korea, so why not just go someplace where I can take out all this anger? See? You see? You see what I said back in the last episode about how Gian thinks he's so different than the people in the pink suits, and he really isn't. But all right, guys, that was episode 2, and let the games begin, right? Let the games begin. We've got Gian basically trying to figure out a way to get to the front man, right? And we also know that Juno has his reasons for wanting to get to the front man. He knows the front man is his brother, but obviously he doesn't want to he doesn't want to tell Gian this information because he knows that if Gian knows this, it's not going to change his mind, right? As far as Gian's concerned, everybody who's at the top of this game needs to be taken out. And once again, I feel like even though Gian's taken quite a bit into consideration, and I do like that they're showing that Gian in these 2 years since the game has really been clearly overthinking about this whole situation. And the thing is, let me take this back. Last season, you know how near the end of this episode, the guy was saying, "Oh, you're better with your words now than you were last time." Last season, it kind of made Gian seem like he wasn't that smart, but I don't think that was ever the case, right? Because he was working, I believe, as an engineer before his life went south with the whole thing that happened at his company, etc. So I do believe that Gian was always smart, but Gian has always been a bit of a slacker. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he could have done more and could have pushed a bit harder, but he always kind of took the route that was a little bit less resistant, a little bit easier for him. And then when things, went sour like they did at the factory, he really could have turned his life around. Like, he really could have just been like, okay, that didn't go the way I wanted, but I have skills, I have knowledge. Let me figure out another way to be successful, right? Like, he could have done that, but instead he decided to sulk about it for like another 2 years and then watch his whole life and his finances, his marriage, everything kind of go to pot instead of actually kind of standing up and moving to the next thing. And I know that there was other traumas that happened, but really it came down to the fact that, and we heard that, like his best friend, from last season, he said that about Gian. He's like, the difference between you and me, the reason why we diverged as we got older is because I kept grinding and you kind of just went with the flow, and that was never going to work for me. So anyway, coming back, Gian has had no reason, like in the past season where we saw that he was drinking and gambling every day and really not doing anything. He's been so hyper-focused on this goal of getting to the front man and trying to end these games that he's actually been thinking a lot more than I think he normally would have otherwise. And, he's thought a lot of things through as far as like, getting all the weapons because he knew they'd be going up against militia and, figuring out how to, get back into the games and, trying to figure out ways to just basically, like, he's thought about a lot of things is my point. There's a few things he's definitely put his thought into ahead of time, but he hasn't really looked at the full scope of everything. And I feel like this is where Juno could help, but I feel like Juno is also still a little bit too narrow-minded about this whole situation as far as like how big the scope of these games are. Like, in their heads, I really think they think it's like 5 people running this thing and they're all in Korea, and that's not the truth, right? Frontman is not even the top of the chain, right? They don't even realize that actually, that's not true. Was Juno in the room? I'm trying to remember last season. I think Juno was in the room when Frontman was getting calls. So maybe he does know. But point being, Frontman's not the top of this, right? He's just the face of the game, but he's not even near the top. Il-nam was one of the top people, but even then, he was a dog on a leash, right? Gyun just said it. He just created the games because people asked him to do it. But he wasn't even the person who's really behind it. He wasn't even one of the biggest people who were part of it. So my point is, Gyun is still looking at this, unfortunately, at too low of a scale to understand that, like I said, this is an international game that's being played, or not played, but watched and funded by people who are so rich that the money he made from the last game is pocket change to them. They don't miss it. It's nothing to them to put that money there. So anyway, point being, we see that Gian is, moving things in motion. His new little friend there who's taken over the business for, the guy who died last episode. He's gotten him in touch with a private militia. He's thinking that would help them as far as being able to at least muscle their way into getting what they want. And we see that he does eventually again decides to trust Juno, because Juno does tell him the truth about like why he wants to work with Gian. Of course, he doesn't tell him the whole truth, as I just mentioned, because he knows that Ino is the front man, and he does not want Gian going directly after his brother. He still has his questions. He's still trying to figure out what's going on there. And we see that part of the reason of that is we got a little snippet there with him and his mom. We see that his mother is blaming herself for Ino's disappearance, right? Or death. Like, she has no idea what happened to him at this point, and we know that Juno's not going to tell her at this point. But in her mind, she thinks that these things all went south because I guess now we discovered that Ino lost his wife to an illness, and because he was not able to afford to get her the proper treatment, she passed away. And we see that apparently the reason why Juno and Ino are so close, and we know this from last season, is because Ino gave his kidney so that Juno could live. So Juno must have had something wrong with his kidneys, and thankfully Ino was a match because it was his brother, and he gave one of his kidneys to him. So now both of them are running on one kidney. And for those who are aware, that's, even though it's possible to live on one kidney, it's still a precarious life, to put it mildly. Like, you still have to be careful because you don't have the luxury of two functioning kidneys. But digressing, we see that his mother is still blaming herself. She feels like, she thinks that Ino somehow treated her that she treated Ino differently, or that he feels like she felt differently for him because that's not her blood child, that was her stepchild. And she just basically keeps blaming herself. And we see that she's kind of in this cycle of grief, right? And we know from last season that one of the reasons why Juno is so obsessed with finding him is because his mom is obsessed with finding him. And I love that he just basically got to his mom and said, okay, you know what? If you're going to play the game of saying this is all your fault because you weren't able to, do all the things you thought you should have done, like sell your organs or whatever to give him money to help his wife, then really let's just do the same thing for me then. Maybe I shouldn't have survived. Maybe you shouldn't have given me a kidney. I should have died so none of this would happen. Like, is that what you want? And of course she's like, no, that's not correct. So he's like, yeah, like same. Like, things happen. Life happens. Unfortunately, people get sick. Good people get sick. People who don't deserve to get sick. And sometimes that sickness is the last thing that ever happens to them. And that's not fair. But it really isn't always a situation of blame. Most of the time, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. And so anyways, understanding this is kind of giving me more perspective on why Juno is not so keen on letting Gian know that that's his brother. And, I think he just wants to figure out what's going on. If there's any way to break, out of this situation. I do think Juno's still trying to do that first over just having him arrested or taking him out, right? So anyway, so we also found out the story of one of the people who I thought was going to be a player in the game, but actually it's going to be one of the people who's in the suits. And we see it's a North Korean lady. I can't remember her name now, but she has been looking for her child, it looks like. So it looks like her and her husband defected from the North, and in the process of doing that, she was separated from her child, and she made it to South Korea. Her child did not, and she's been trying to find her child ever since. And it sounds like everyone has been saying, yeah, all the investigators, I should say, that she's come across, they've been telling her that the chances of her 1-year-old surviving something like that are very low. But, the same person who we met last season who was looking for the other North Korean defectors' parents, she went to him and he said, well, with no confirmation, there is obviously a chance, but it's a low chance. And apparently he's already tried and he just cannot find any information. But as I was saying in the episode, a 1-year-old who, probably could not talk or anything like that, like probably has no recollection of who their parents are. My hope, like I was saying, like my hope is that someone saw this child, took pity on it and took it in. But who knows, right? With no information potentially on that child to identify who they were, they could have been absorbed into another family and they will never know the truth of their beginnings, right? So anyways, all that to say that this new character, this North Korean woman, she's clearly unhappy. We're introduced to her sleeping out of her car, taking way too many pills and drinking. She's clearly highly depressed and just at her wit's end. She doesn't know what else to do, because if she can't find her child, she's feeling like there's no other meaning in her life. And so we see that she was approached with the card, and I thought it was to play the game, but then I was kind of thinking, like, why would she play the game though? Because what would she use the money for? We know that the private eye already said it's not a matter of money. It's just a matter of we don't think it's a viable case. And so if it's not money that she needs, which is why most of them go in, and it doesn't look like she owes anybody anything, why else would she join the game, right? Unless she just has a death wish, right? And she doesn't want to do it herself. But now seeing that she's going in as a worker, this makes so much more sense, right? This is someone who now has a very jaded and gray worldview, someone who now doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to live for and a whole lot to fight for, someone who probably has very low faith in humanity. So that is someone who's going to probably be much more open to doing the type of things that these people in these suits have to do, to sitting back and watching people suffer and not really feeling any level of conscience about it. And seeing her burn the little picture that little girl gave her, this dying girl who's, expressing some love towards her, the fact that she chose to burn that kind of shows you the mentality that she's in right now. So I really think, like I said, it's really interesting to me that they're showing another perspective, because in season 1, the only perspective we got on the pink suit people was from Juno going in undercover, right? But that wasn't really a true look into how anyone gets into that situation. So now seeing that this is how they recruit for them, because I was saying, like, I don't think that these people necessarily volunteer with no consequences, if that makes sense. But this is a great example. And then of course we heard Gong Yu's story in the last episode as well. So it's kind of making sense how these people are chosen at all the levels of the game, and how like this game has been thought out on more than one front. But also, as I said last episode, it shows that Gian, this idea that he thinks he's so much better than the people in those pink outfits, it's kind of coming to light now that they're very similar, right? Different circumstances, but a lot of what's driving them all to this game is similar. Which, speaking of driving them all to the game, we see that with Gian, he goes to the club, and this is all part of his plan. He shows up at the club. He thinks he's got a plan. He's gotten a tracker installed in his molar, which is probably the smartest thing he's done thus far, to be honest, because I don't think any of them thought he would go that far. But yes, at least now he has a way to track getting to the island. Like, this is what they've been really struggling with so far, both him and Juno, is that they can't find this island. So, and maybe they keep moving it. True, it's very possible with so many small islands out there, they've been moving the location. But digressing, they now have this on him. So that's the one trump card they still have going on, is that they are tracking him, and as long as they don't figure out where it is, or they don't have something that blocks the signal, they'll have a way. But digressing, Gian goes to this club, and we see that, of course the game is waiting for him, right? I think that Gian was getting a little cocky because beautiful Gong Yu is gone, and I think he felt like he's gotten one over on the group because he's done that. And also the fact that he took his own tracker out. I think Gian's been feeling like he's been operating outside of their purview. But when he went there tonight, we see that that was not the case at all. Like, they do still have eyes on him. Maybe they're not watching his every move, but they definitely have ideas and eyes on where he is. And we see that he's taken into the limo, the same limo that dropped him off when he won the game. And of course, Frontman's not actually there, but they have the conversation, and Gian basically lets him know, like, I want this game to stop. Like, that's why I'm doing all this. This is why I'm here. And we hear that Frontman says all the things like, why would you give it up? Like, this is like the Matrix. You had the option to, live the life where you can forget everything. Why would you choose suffering? And Gian basically was like, look, you don't understand. He's like, I'm doing this because I'm tired of rich people telling me that I'm nothing and that all of us are just here for their entertainment. And I want to show that that's not the case by bringing this game down and making these rich people go away. And again, as I said last episode, the game master said the same thing. He's like, no one forced this game. He's like, we created the game, yes, in the sense of the actual games and the setup. But he's like, but we don't force anybody to come. Everyone has the choice, right? Which, as I said last episode, half true. They do manipulate people to go into the game. And again, they have no idea the level of stakes that the game has until they get into the game. However, as the game goes on, they always have the option to opt out, and they don't, right? And he says that. He's like, in the end, though, you all choose to continue with the game. And so he's like, if you want this game to stop, then you need to change. You need society to change. And he's got half a point here. Half a point in the sense of it's true. The capitalistic greed society has created such a disparity in wealth and such a level of desperation in the people who are have-nots that there is even room for people to contemplate doing these crazy games. However, a lot of that situation, that capitalistic system, is created by the very people who are paying for the game. So, like I said, half a point. But he is right about the fact that, the world would have to change as far as people's viewpoint on greed and money for these games to really truly disappear. But either way, we see the Gian's like, look, I'm not giving up on this. Like, I want to show you guys that even what you want sometimes is going to be denied you. And so when he realizes that his backup contingency is taken out, because of course, they're having the car followed to make sure that no one's following them. And when Gian realizes he's on his own, he goes to his backup plan and he says, well, put me back in the game then if that's what it takes. Like, he tells him it's for the entertainment purposes, but we know as an audience it's so because this will help figure out where the island is and hopefully they'll be able to find him there. So they said, okay, fine, you want to go back to the game? So be it. So that is where Gian is headed now. He's being gassed down. And we see that the group, with Juno and the rest of the paramilitary, they're going to have to see if they can follow that signal and figure out where the games are being held. But even if that happens, how they're going to get there, how they're going to approach without being taken down, how they're going to infiltrate. Like I said, I still feel like they're underestimating how easy they think it's going to be to just follow Gian into this game. But at least they're one step further than they were in the past, and that at least Gian does have that tracker and they'll be able to at least figure out the general area where he's at and be able to formulate a plan from there. But yeah, another good episode. I do like how they're kind of building the layers of this plot as far as what Gian's doing and, Juno's motivation. And now, like I said, the perspective of someone who's actually going to be in the pink suit. So it'll be interesting to follow these journeys as we continue on and kick off a new game, I'm assuming, next episode. So yeah, another good episode. I enjoyed that a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love and I'll see you in the next one.